Hello guys, and welcome back to Strategic Command World War II World at War with our Axis playthrough. In the last episode, we conquered France. A lot of things happened. Yugoslavia joined us. Everything's going pretty well recently. It's currently June of 1940, exactly roughly 1 year before Operation Barbarossa is supposed to happen. That being said, I don't think I'm gonna invade Russia in June. That's fine. We have 1,400 MPPs to spend in Germany, a lot of stuff to do. So let's get started on that, shall we? Looking at the things that we do and don't have right now for Germany for research, currently pending and already finished, I think it's a pretty good idea that we go ahead and we get long-range aircraft researching. We're down to 1220 MPPs. Ground attack weapons going up. Also very important if you ask me. Another 175, that's down to 1045 MPPs. We have only 175 remaining that we can put into this. While there's a lot of good options of where to put it, I think I'm going to put it into advanced fighters because I think that will help me in the USSR the most. And Germany is basically going to be soloing the USSR if all things go according to plan, while also helping with Egypt and the UK and everything else over here. Trying to see how much of this I can realistically put up to Italy though. But they still need their infantry weapons upgrades, so Yugoslavia is going to be my way of assisting over here. We got Rommel down here to assist, and then Germany's just going to be going crazy against the USSR. Maybe, depending on how China goes, we can get another front open over with Japan. Would bring America into the war earlier, but if America's already in the war by that point, then it wouldn't really matter. In addition to research, we also have 3 of Germany's 5 chits now back because Yugoslavia has joined us. All 3 of these are going into Turkey. That's the main thing right now. We just need to get Turkey to join us as soon as possible. And we're coming from 0%. Even with like full crits, this would still take me 5 turns at best. At absolute best. Like we have to be so lucky. 5 turns to get this to join us. And that is not the greatest. But with as many points into this as I could possibly do from everybody, I can set this up for just perfectly timed opening another front, a southern front, against the USSR, hopefully, I think. That is going to be expensive, but that's fine. 1, no, don't reclaim. 2, 3, and now we're down to 720 MPPs. We spent 150 just now. We're 35% chance of success against Turkey. We're gonna get like Japan's points in there as well. We're gonna go all in on Turkey, bro. Nothing else matters other than Turkey. All right, so you guys remember how somewhere around here, I had these subs and we ran into one of the 2 corps that was part of the BEF. There was the BEF army and there were 2 corps that spawned over here and they all fled before doing any fighting at all. And I sank one of those corps because it ran into my subs. Well, in the last turn replay, we had the BEF army, not even just a corps, the army ran into my heavy cruisers down here. This is absolutely incredible to me, not because I get to sink the BEF army now, in addition to one of the corps, which I do, but because I don't fucking understand why the BEF army is at Cape Town. What the fuck? What are you thinking, AI? You had them here, you could have retreated them to London. I thought it was sending it over to Egypt. That would have made so much sense, right? Steamroll Libya, maybe to Ethiopia to curb stomp me there, get me out of Africa. Where the fuck are you going? Maybe it is going to Ethiopia, I guess. Does that even make sense? Why are you going like this? You own the Suez. Why are you at Cape Town? That means that the core is probably nearby as well, and I'm just blockading the path. The other core, the final one, and it's probably on its way to Ethiopia right now. It can't be on its way to Japan. They're not at war with Japan, and they can't fight through China very well. So it's going to Ethiopia. The AI decided to send the entire BEF to Ethiopia without even going through the Mediterranean. They're going around Africa. What the fuck? It's whatever though, I guess. Let's go ahead and spend more MPPs where MPPs need to be spent. So we got this submarine up to Greenland. It can be reinforced up to 8 strength. We're gonna go ahead and do that so we can get it rating again. Maintaining 8 strength is probably, well, actually it's not the best I can do anymore. if I just sail the subs over here to Bordeaux, Brest, Saint-Nazaire, and just, you know, Western France in general, these ports are actually really, really valuable for this Atlantic rating. Now, we don't need to maintain them all at 10. That's not exactly necessary, but it would sure be nice. It would sure be a helpful thing. Like I was mentioning doing, by the way, let's also just go ahead and sink the BEF army. Shattered, yeah, just completely dead. We just destroyed a fucking army out at sea. So we know that there is a battleship that went down like that. It's probably 3 or 4 turns, I'd say about 3 turns if I'm trying to be cautious, away from reaching my little location here. So I might not want to sit here for another 3 turns. We might actually just bump it over a little bit to the west for right now. Kind of stay in the correct area, but not in the exact same spots. Not quite sure what to do with these guys in the long run, because again, they don't have good access to ports to upgrade or anything. I mean, they could attempt to go northeast and upgrade over here, but there's a fucking battleship over here, and these are just heavy cruisers with no upgrades, but tons of XP so far. I guess from convoy rating, it would probably be safer to just go straight northwest and make it over to France. Even though there's plenty of UK ships over here worse than one battleship, it's probably not too crazy to kind of swing a little wide and then like force sail into these ports, and then boom, you're just perfectly safe. In fact, if there was enough ports, which there aren't on this side, you could operate the entire Sherman fleet out here if you wanted to. Side note, if you hear any rumbling through my mic, I'm in a thunderstorm. There's flooding. Anyway, that being said, let's go ahead and move these subs a little bit. Let's swing you over this way, closer to the Mediterranean, and swing you over right next to it. There you go. Kind of move things south. Keep an eye over this area for the time being. They're in a pretty healthy spot. I don't need to repair them. That could just be a waste of convoy rating. I don't think convoy rating scales with your strength. That being said, it's somewhere in October, I believe, Greece opens up. It's June, so we have ass tons of time to prepare for these kinds of things. The USSR, yeah, I'm probably just going to wait till 41, but I'm going to start like at the end of winter or beginning of spring rather than anything else. So this gives me time to kind of set other things up. For example, getting Yugoslavia ready. Because like I said, Yugoslavia can be my German arm for assisting the Italians over here. And then even going further to, well, if they need to assist the Romanians and Hungarians in the south, or going into Turkey to assist in the Caucasus, this is my arm. And so a couple things have to happen in order to make that work. And I've already spent like half of these MPPs that I had, of which I've spent more than half of what I got from the plunder. Yugoslavia, though, is going to need an HQ, even if I can only build one. This could potentially be very wasteful of me. However, where this HQ is going, speed will be relevant, especially in the long run. So I think I'll go ahead and I'll buy this HQ with AA defenses and mobility. Mobility is really expensive for an HQ. Look at that, 388 to 474. Once you get it, you have it, and you don't need to get it again though. And getting a good proper HQ that can follow the Yugoslavians around would really extend their capabilities. And so I want to make sure it's good, you know, because I won't necessarily have a bunch that I could just move and shift around like I could with Germany to make this work. So we're going to purchase this for most of our remaining MPPs as Germany. There you go. Yeah, I don't know how recruiting another HQ would work. I don't think it would. I don't know why the hard cap is like this. We don't have any other leaders. So that's very strange. The only other thing we could recruit is an army, and maybe it will be worth recruiting them eventually, but not right now. I definitely don't have enough MPPs to be upgrading planes right now. So we're going to take these fighter... Oh, wait, that's right. I might need to kind of spread the fighters out or start building anti-air defenses here. With how I see this going, I feel like just anti-air defenses here is going to work the best. Also, are there... There are. Right, yes. I almost completely forgot about this. I would be like, are there partisans that I need to worry about? There are partisans I need to worry about. I don't really have much in the way of garrisons on the mainland. It's mainly like corps that I can leave behind, but I could do that. I think I might go with actually just upgrading anti-air defenses on locations here rather than leaving fighters here. I feel like fighters are more important for the units. So that's how I'm going to handle it. No fighters are going to stay here. I don't care about a protracted air war with the BEF. They can barely hurt my MPPs, by strat bombing into here, so I'm really not worried about that. The third fighters here are definitely going into the Soviet front 100%. I'm half tempted to send some over here, but I think the Italians can handle that. We're probably leave these 2 HQs up here, and they can just come down here and handle this. I don't remember, but I don't think we're getting another HQ down here for the Italians. Let me look at the Italian production. Okay, never mind. There is no Italian production. Maybe it would be good to spread this out. I don't know. Either way, my German HQs are very limited. HQs as the Axis are extremely limited, I noticed. The Allies get so many HQ capabilities that they can make and maintain at once if you're playing with hard limits. If you're playing with soft limits, then the Axis kind of doesn't have this problem. But we'll take the third fighters, and we're just going to move this straight east, because this is definitely, I guess, going to help against the USSR, the push into the USSR. I don't know exactly how the lines are going to look yet, but just going as far, did I say west? East, as we possibly could, would be ideal. We have also another fighter, the fourth fighters. We have the first fighters. Where's the second fighters? We not have the second fighters? No, we have... We have 1, 3, and 4. Okay. I'm going to stick with this idea I had for now that we only use tactical bombers on that eastern front. So we're going to take the first fighters and we're going to move them northeast towards Bremen. Just towards there. They have pretty good coverage here. Not perfect, but it'll be expanded. This is where I think long-range fighters will help. But we're going to take the medium bombers and we're going to send them all north. The... whatever this one is going to Bremen itself for now. It can't get any farther because it started in the rain. The KG-1 medium bombers can get further. Not sure how far I want them to go. I guess I'd kind of like to get them up to Alberg. Something like that. How's supply up here? It's actually pretty good, yeah. Supply right here, like stack them up around here so we could just kind of reach out this way, plus some fighters with 2 escorts to kind of keep them company. Yeah, that's kind of how I see this going. That works. Okay, yeah, so let's take the medium bombers and we'll put them right south of Alberg where there's a little bit better supply. That takes care of that. The 2 medium bombers will be on harassing enemy naval things duty with a fighter to accompany them. We'll have 2 fighters going off all the way to the east. We'll just move the 4th fighters as far as we can get them right now. The tactical bombers have all the upgrades they need. They're just going to move as far east as I can get all of them. They're going to be accompanied by 2 fighter escorts. That kind of works for the time being. I don't know if we're getting any more for free. No, we're not. The only other things we're getting are, well, for free, is 1 German HQ in September of this year. Oh, that'll be so handy. And just a bunch of ships, which is not really going to be that handy. And then the HQ that I purchased and paid for a fuck ton of money for the Yugoslavians. Next, we need to set up some defensive placements over in the west now regarding enemy partisans. So there's a couple spots we need to watch for. I really haven't even been watching, even in the Low Countries, places that I already kind of needed to be keeping an eye on and then just like haven't been. So cores, yes, cores. We're gonna take this core right here and we're just gonna force march it all the way over to Brest. Just gonna force march it. Because we're mainly here for partisan purposes. Defensive purposes doesn't matter as much. They can't land with a normal transport on a port. This isn't Supreme Ruler. If they don't own it, they have to own it. So they have to land via amphibious means. Making it easy for them to land also isn't, you know, probably the best thing, but we'll figure something out. Maybe with like garrisons instead. Can we purchase a lot of garrisons? Oh my god. 24 garrisons. Okay. Yeah, we'll figure something like that out. We also need to reinforce the stuff that's up here that got damaged. That is probably pretty important. Also, what is this? Can these get elite reinforce? Oh my god, yeah. If they had supply, they could get elite reinforcements. At least this one up here by Narvik. But it doesn't have supply. Neither does this one in Bergen. We're going to reinforce the garrison at Bergen, the garrison at Trondheim, the garrison at Christiansand. We're going to reinforce that. This takes very little MPPs because those were all garrisons. 5 points for the Oslo garrison. That's 35 MPPs. Supply up here, again, is really not that great. So we can't get that past 8, unfortunately. And we can end up upgrading. But without an HQ up here, yeah, no, supply is going to be what kicks us in the ass. And unfortunately, Norway counts as occupied, so we don't get access to any Norwegian units. Oh yeah, I guess one thing to remember that I kind of forgot about was the fact that the USSR, because they invaded Finland, I think Finland is just guaranteed to join me by event now. I don't know that I have to sway them. I don't think I do. I think they're guaranteed to join me by event, since USSR invaded them and won in their invasion. I don't know that for a fact though. Okay, yeah, provided Finland has a pro-Axis leaning and I declare war on the USSR, this is pretty much guaranteed. Also, really interesting note, because I guess as the Allies, I could keep them out of the war by just trying to sway them, even if I do invade them, assuming this is correct wording. In addition, we'll also need to keep some kind of garrison on Brussels and The Hague. The Hague? I still don't know how to say that. We'll take the 2nd German Corps. I'm going to march that up to the Hague. And I have another corps, the 1st Corps. Oh, perfect naming scheme, huh? That will go to Brussels here once I move the HQ. MPPs are going to slow me down the most in the upcoming turns and this turn, but I think I will prioritize the Yugoslavian units because they are going to see action sooner than any other German forces that I have. So, for example, getting the Belgrade Corps up to max, that's pretty important, if I say so myself. This corps up here, the 6th Yugoslavian Corps, has to get somewhere that has higher than 5 supply, which I guess could include Niš. I remember this place. Yeah. Okay, well, in that case, for now, I'll move the Dravska Corps south to Skopje, because it's not like this front is about to open. We'll take the 6th Yugoslavian Corps, march that down to Niš. Oh, and they have mobility, which is fantastic. After that, I've gone ahead and reinforced the Bidaliska Corps up to max on Zagreb. Over by Novi Sad, we got the Bosanska, I can't say these names, Corps. We're going to reinforce that up to max. That leaves me with 72 MPPs. Plenty of work to do here eventually, but not imminently, not importantly. There's no way in hell that we are going to be upgrading any of the HQs this turn, so we're just going to start marching them east along whatever roads or rails we have. I already got the von Kukler going over to Dresden. The one over here on Brussels will move towards Frankfurt. Von Bach will move towards Cologne for the time being. We'll take that corps now and move it over to Brussels. We don't need a massive defense force here. I don't think the UK is going to do a massive invasion. I don't think they have the troops, especially now that 2/3, more than that if you weight them by type, of the BEF are dead. All they can really do is defend their island for a good long while. So, and if I remember correctly, there's some kind of event where Germany can just get a bunch of defenses, like artillery defenses, along here, the Atlantic Wall, and maybe there's garrisons involved as well. I don't exactly remember because I didn't see it in my playthrough, because in my playthrough, I believe Italy conquered France, and so that event never fired. I really want to prioritize reinforcing right now, and so I can spend the rest of Germany's MPPs just reinforcing the 4th Panzer tanks right next to Paris. So that's pretty much taken care of. Okay, we'll need a corps actually on Nancy as well. That's no problem. And on Paris. So here's what I'm going to do. For now, we're just going to casually run the army on Paris away, because we don't have points to do anything with it right now anyway. We are going to take one of these corps that was defending along the Maginot. We are going to move one of them, the one from Mannheim, over to Nancy. We're going to force march another one. No, actually, we don't even need to do that. Let's just take the Slovakian Corps, which is right here, and place that on Paris. And with that taken care of, everything that needs a garrison has a garrison. Everything else needs to move east, reinforce, upgrade, you name it. It has to do it. So let's drive these tanks closer to Mannheim. Let's move this army more eastward. We want to make sure everyone ends on a railway as well. That's another kind of pretty important thing. This corps will go to Munich. This corps will go to Nuremberg. This corps will go next to Nuremberg. This corps will go to Leipzig. The army on Luxembourg will go next to Frankfurt, I guess, yeah. This corps, it's not an important corps, yeah, neither is that army. Both of them will just move east. This one into the Ardennes. This one to the Rhine. We have this tank that will move towards Metz. We have a 3rd army, which will move towards, I guess, Chalons. We have the 14th army, which will move towards Paris. It can't move very far. It's in the rain. Due to bad terrain, I guess, these paratroopers just can't move very far at all. I'm just going to run them a little bit. A lot of these troops might just end up getting operated anyway. It's just, if there's a chance that I can move them normally, I'm just going to start moving them normally. Not force marching. I don't want to, like, neuter them. It's really not that important. Logistics wise, operating isn't crazy expensive. We'll take these paratroopers and move them east. The Italian units, I'm just not going to touch those for right now. So that is everything moved pretty much as far as they can standardly get that is not already in the east or sitting somewhere that I want to protect, such as Berlin. Maybe some sorts of garrisons for like important secondary supply, national morale objectives like Hamburg would probably be ideal. I don't want the Allies like landing and just getting like a free landing zone. But I also don't want to neuter an offensive against the Soviets just to prepare for a UK invasion that's not coming, or a D-Day that is probably going to be outside the scope of this playthrough. Only other thing to do as Germany, I believe, is to take this sub, just kind of like move it somewhere else so it's not sitting in the same point for too long. For the Italians, since they're going to be supported by the Yugoslavians who have German tech anyway, I think I definitely will move to kind of split the HQs between north and south. I believe that would be smart to do. So we're going to need to get the Gazoni HQ out to sea. And so to do that, we have to get it next to a port, like right here. So let's go ahead and get the Gazoni HQ moving to right around there. We don't really need a western border protected anymore. Vichy, I wonder if the Allies invade Algeria, Tunisia, and whatnot. I don't know. But Vichy wouldn't be a problem until outside the scope of which we've already won, I believe. We definitely need to reinforce the army here that's under attack from Egypt. This is an army? Yeah, 10th Army. It's going to keep losing readiness and morale if it keeps getting attacked, but it just needs to hold off as long as possible until Rommel gets there, until I can get an HQ down there, now that the situation's changing a little bit. Additionally, I think it's pretty important to reinforce the HQ over here at Adidibidibabababidaba, because it's giving some good bonuses to everything, protecting the core of Ethiopia. We might not be able to hold on to Italian East Africa in the long run due to the South African core showing up, but that's fine. That's not as important, if you ask me. Italian East Africa. Yeah, because the capital's up here. Wow, that's funny. They combined two colonies sort of into one here. Because this is Eritrea. And this is Italian Somaliland. But they just made all of it Italian East Africa. Yeah, okay, so this doesn't matter as much. Massawa actually matters more. And it's supported by this HQ. Without this HQ, we would have a much harder time defending everything here. If this is at 10, you'll be able to provide more supply and combat bonuses to everybody in the region, if only by a small amount. We only have 30 MPPs now. We're going to take our planes and just start sending them east. Just normally, not paying for anything special at the moment. Again, we have until October, roughly, before the invasion begins, and we will get, I believe, 2 free cores on the Albanian side, which is why I'm not, like, super concerned about how this is going to go, because the front's going to be pretty jam-packed already, and quite frankly, it's probably going to be more important to have the Yugoslavians on the front than the Italians. I will take the 2 subs, and we will start moving them west, little bit by little bit here. Yeah, let's just go like this, just straight west. Okay, nothing really to worry about there. I can not reach where I want to get to immediately right now. I'll go a little bit past with this sub, but I want to keep them close by so they can support each other if need be, or otherwise make enemy movement a little more difficult in this region. But I definitely want to get these subs on raiding duty to lower the amount of total MPPs arriving to the UK. Due to the many reasons of why I don't need to get the Italian troops to the front as soon as possible, we're just going to start running them. So this HQ is just going to run down the road. First Corps is going to run down the road behind it. This army is going to run up to Milan behind it. They may operate eventually, but there's a chance that they just won't need to. This tank is just going to start running down the road, but staying on the rails. Same thing with the Third Corps here. Just casually moving, no rush. We have 30 MPPs remaining. It does not need to go to operating for a war that's not going to start for another like half a year. We're going to go ahead and reinforce the heavy cruiser here in the meantime. 25 MPPs. That brings us down to 5. We only have 1 ship, I think, now, at least in the Mediterranean, that still needs reinforcement. There is also this destroyer, but this destroyer is in the fucking danger zone. I'm afraid to even attempt to move this. That's pretty much everything that there is to do with Italy, so let's look at Japan now. So we're gonna take the 13th Army and we're gonna attack this core that we've been battering down for a few turns, and they keep building it back up. We dealt 4 damage, we took 1 damage. We were supposed to deal 3 and take none, so I'm not really sure if that's a win or not. But, you know, it's what happened. I do see the potential to potentially eliminate this core very soon, so let's take the second Kwantung army and attack. Even though we could reinforce, let's attack. We dealt 2 damage, took 1 damage. We're not supposed to be taking damage on these attacks, but we're still doing more damage than it says we will. This feels like some sort of like berserker luck. I'm really not sure how I feel about it. I guess we just swap the 3rd army in again like we've been doing, and we attack the core again. We dealt 2 damage. We took none. Okay, at least that one kind of worked out exactly as advertised. Let's take the 5th core and attack, and bam! We absolutely destroyed that enemy unit. We've absolutely no one capable of moving onto this spot due to zones of control from Changsha, but progress is progress, right? So that's good enough for now. We have the Central Expedition Army, which is still super powerful, that can deal 5 damage to this entrenched, by the way, enemy 2nd Corps that's out here on whatever kind of fucking terrain this is. Just a field. Yeah, makes sense. Well, let's go ahead and attack it. We did 4 damage, and unfortunately took 1 damage. That didn't go very well for us compared to how it said it would at all. Let's go ahead and attack with the core as well. We dealt 3 damage. That's more than the 2 we were supposed to do. We were only supposed to take 1. We took 2. What? Man, this is some shitty fucking luck right now. I'm just attacking with land units here because I plan on using the air units up north where we have constant like progress happening. But progress is progress, I guess. It's just unfortunate, like the rolls that we're getting. So the entire south is pretty much done for now. Now moving on to the north, as we see the Chinese have chosen to clump up a fuck ton of a mixture of corps and armies here around Yichang. They really want to roadblock us off from getting to Chongqing. Understandable, because that's their starting capital. I believe later it moves to... Oh, how far west is it? It moves somewhere over here later, right? No. Chengdu? No. Guangzhou? No. I think I'm remembering Chongqing being a lot farther west than it is. Maybe it's just because of where the borders are right now. I don't know. Either way, I'm not going to get elite reinforcements on these fighters right now like I initially said I was. At least maybe not. Actually, I might. Both of these fighters, or these bombers, are actually in range of the carriers that I have in port. Alright, so fuck it then. Yeah, let's get the elite reinforcements because they could theoretically escort. That's what this means, right? Yeah, that's the escort range. Is that the interception range? Okay, that is the interception range. Blue would be the escort range. Okay, well, never mind then. I could do a hell of a lot of damage poking at these cores down here, especially with air. That's not where I want to make a fuck ton of progress right now. Something that's getting in my way right now is this army that's in fortifications and currently surrounded by me and down to 4 supply. Its zone of control really slows me down in the area, and it's right along the road to Xi'an. So we got to get rid of this. So I'm going to start by doing a medium bomber bombing run. Oh, looks like their fighters aren't escorting up here. That's nice. Did we take damage? We took damage on the medium bomber, but we reduced their readiness and morale by like fucking 10 to 20% each. We'll take the tactical bombers and do this again. Okay. No damage taken, their morale's down even lower, and their entrenchment. We can get elite reinforcements on the fighters because we didn't actually need to run any escorts. So let's do that. And now let's start chipping away at the 12th Army by land, starting with someone that's not actually facing the fortifications, which would be the 6th Army here. Let's go ahead and attack. We dealt 5 damage. We were only supposed to deal 4, but then we took it 1 damage when we weren't supposed to take any. What is this weird ass fucking shit, man? We have a prepared attack from this fortification line, so I will attack from this fortification line, dealing 4 damage as we were supposed to, taking no damage as we were supposed to. So I think that worked out pretty well. Looks like the 11th Regional Army has the best percentage chances here, so we're going to go ahead and attack from the other fortification line and across a river like a smart person. National morale bonus, we didn't take any damage, perfect. And we've opened this road and rail towards Chengchao now. That's amazing, and we don't have to worry about the enemies any longer. I will reinforce the 17th Army. They could use some rest and recuperation. I will move forward the 37th to kind of claim this spot and push our control forward a little bit. They actually moved an army over here into this pass. Isn't that an interesting choice? I just don't think I need any more than a corps to defend against them due to how kind of like beefy our cores are. I might want 2 cores, but I don't know, I feel like when we start pushing west towards Xi'an, they'll change their tune about like what they're putting over here. For now, the 11th Regional Army can't get very far, so let's at least get it over the river onto the rail where it could respond more easily and road to anywhere that it might need to go. Before some of these corps get any further entrenched, because some of them are just like not entrenched at all, I feel like I should go a little bit on an offensive, especially this one, which is across a river, but weaker and more susceptible than the one that's not across the river is. It is just a corps, and I'm probably not going to kill it, but I want to inflict as much damage as possible onto them. So let's go ahead and just attack with this army. 3 damage dealt, 1 taken. Always unfortunate to take damage, but this is a prepared attack. So I will do this one without moving, because prepared is probably better than swapping to do a blitz, right? I'm not going to be hyper aggressive though. We're going to reinforce this corps in the rear. We're going to give elite reinforcements to this army in the rear. We're down to 212 MPPs remaining. I want to get some forces up to like as strong as they can be, so I can have a renewed offensive rather than keep just like cycling in and out this kind of like slower, weaker offensive that I have right now. This accomplishes every land and air-based movement that I wish to do for this turn. Naval combat is still nowhere near. Research is full. So let's go into diplomacy. We have 3 chits to allocate as Japan, and you know where those are going. Turkey, Turkey, and Turkey. We are up to 50% chance of success per turn. That's going to go down for every success, remember. And even with 3 amazing crits, we'd still only be like 60% of the way there. So we need this, especially to get everything ready by my own Barbarossa. Since units are going to start moving up on the front soon, I will also go ahead and spend the remaining MPPs on just getting a garrison. I'm not going to give it infantry weapons. It doesn't really need to. So we're just going to get a garrison, the first Nanjing garrison. We're going to end up getting all 3 eventually, just to put it somewhere where I'm going to end up moving away from to keep these Chinese partisans under control. But I believe that's everything that I'm going to do / can afford to do this turn. So that's all we have for this turn and all we have for this episode. As always, let me know what you guys think of the series, the plans, the strategies. Give me your feedback in the comments below. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.